be live. Oh my God, it's Everton knocked out the FA Cup. It's the third time in a week we've gone out in the absolute freezing temperatures to go and watch Everton. And there's an element of numbness here because I can't honestly say that we were horrendous because we didn't get battered 3-4-5-0. So I can't say that it was horrendous. But well, I don't know where I'm fucking parked. Waiting for. But to lose 3 games in a week. Very, very subdued atmosphere coming out of Bramley-Moore Dock, and this ground has just been. It hasn't been a happy place for us this week, and to be honest, it hasn't been a happy place for us all season. We've lost to Newcastle, Spurs, Brentford, and now Sunderland. Dropped points against West Ham, dropped points against Villa, lost to Arsenal. Is it this road? I don't know. You'll have to bear with me, guys. We're going to get some more people coming on in a moment to talk about the game. There's a lot to talk about. But I think my immediate feeling coming out of the stadium is numbness. Because you've done it to us once, then you've done it to us twice, and then you did it to us 3 times in a week. And our loyalty, the fans who've come out in the cold 3 times in a week. Oh, fuck off with your music. No one wants to listen to a band after losing, getting knocked out the cup. 3rd round again. 3rd round. Gonna come back online in a minute, guys. Just gonna have to be back in a second. Just need to find out where Andy's parked, Mabsy. Yeah, so we knocked out the FA Cup in the 3rd round. We were knocked out the Carabao Cup in the 3rd round. We put in a really poor performance against Brentford. Brentford was embarrassing, conceding 4 goals at home, losing all the duels in midfield, losing the battles, getting in the wrong areas of the pitch, making individual errors. You've done that once. Okay, you've done that once. And then you've done it a second time against Wolverhampton Wanderers where you were winning 1-0, you were comfortable. It wasn't the best game. In fact, it was a poor performance. And then you gift them a goal, 2 passes from one end of the pitch to another for Wolves. And it was like Moses had parted the Red Sea. He goes and slots it 1-1. Michael Keane, who's an enigma, he's sometimes good, but usually shit, gives away a red card. Doesn't use his brain. And then we get another red card. Jack Grealish sarcastically clapping the referee. It's like players' heads have gone. And we go and draw the game 1-1. We cling on for a draw. And then you think it's too soon to be coming back to Everton Stadium. No one really wants to come here today. No one was really excited to come back for the 3rd time in a week. And the first half was just so bad again. You got Tyler Lipping, £45 million. £45 million player. He looks like an under 21s kid. You have to bear with me, guys. I need to try and find. I don't know where my. You go. I've lost Andy and I've lost. I don't know where the car is, and I don't know where my house keys are. I mean, that just kind of sums up this week. Yeah, Dibbling was just absolutely terrible. Millen Roll was useless, and they're the two sort of main signings in that midfield that played today. They were completely out of their depth in the midfield. Second half was better. We took control in a way. It's hard to be too critical because it looked like we tried. We clearly don't have the players available. We tried, we had a go. We tried to make things happen by too often we were resorting to a long ball and it would go straight to an Everton striker, but you'd have a battle against him and he'd lose the battle. And then we'd try and probe again. A lot of the lack of quality was the real problem. You can see I'm quite numb. I don't even have the energy to shout. I need to find Mabsy. I'm embarrassed, really, that it's 3 games in a week where the opposition fans have just turned up and they leave singing, dancing, chanting, ranting. They have a fun time. We have a miserable time. Alton Street. Is it this one? Right, you'll have to bear with me a second, guys. I do apologise. Corey's here.
Hello, mate.
Corey, I mean, it's hard to even find the emotions. I'd be really struggling to get angry. And you know what I'm like after sometimes I can be quite animated and full of complaints and criticisms where I feel they're appropriate. But today, I'm numb. I have to warn people for my language, but I am extremely angry. It reminded me of the Leicester game. I said to David before the James Garner penalty in the shootout, I said, he's going to miss this. This will be like the Baines moment where he took the penalty to equalise and then loses one in the shootout. But we've lost every single fucking shootout at home. And you just think, you do your basics. The goalie is a 6'2" object standing in between something 80 times the size of him or something. Don't make it easy for him. And the penalties, we made it so easy. Corey, come in and say what you want to say.
So, what I will say, mate, I'll react to the penalties first because, yeah, look, The Ghana one, you probably give him maybe a little bit of leeway because he scored the first one. He tries to do something different, but you can see from his head he's telegraphed that. He's telegraphed that penalty. As soon as he stepped up to take that penalty, or as soon as he done that run up, you could see him looking to the left hand side. So he telegraphed that, but we give him a little bit of leeway. He scored the first one, fantastic. The tippy-tappy run-up for the penalty, the stuttered run-up, should be banned from this club. I understand it works for some players. I understand Jorginho had one of the best ratios for scoring penalties until Pickford saved it against Italy. So I get why he does it, but we've seen that run-up now twice. Onana and now Barry. And do you know what? The lad just needed confidence, just step up and just smash that penalty. Beto, I knew was going to miss. I knew Beto was going to miss. He missed that exact same penalty. Was it last season? He missed that exact same penalty, done the exact same thing. Slight stutter in the run-up, not a proper one, and then just didn't put it in the corner, put it just to the keeper's left, just to the right, and it was saved easily. And he telegraphed it last time. So I knew Beto was going to miss it. As soon as I heard
you win the toss. You won the toss. You won the toss twice. You won the toss to take your penalty first. You won the toss to take it down the Everton end. James Garner, you could smack it past him. The crowd get lifted. The confidence is up. The reality is, you make it easy for the goalie when you keep it near him. You don't put enough pace on it. You're not confident. What are they practicing all week? I mean, they did really well to get to penalties because with the players that they had. Sunderland are a newly promoted team. They've got half the players at AFCON as well. I'm not having any stupid excuses. And if you've got anyone to blame the fucking the recruitment who spent 45 million on Dibbling and 20 million on Merlin Rowe and signed all these players who don't look up to it. Gareth Barry or whatever his name is up front for us is... I don't know what... I can't even comment on this guy. It's just like... I mean, we spent 30 million quid on him. Who signs off on these players?
When it went to extra time, I was thinking to myself, you know what, this post-match, I'm trying to manage it to be pretty fairly positive. I thought I know Sunderland are missing a lot of players, but a lot of the players that we thought they were potentially going to miss, Siddiqui and things like that, they actually made it for this game. Their teams, the Congo got knocked out a couple of days ago. I thought they would have just about missed this game, but obviously Siddiqui's come in and played, which meant that their squad they probably missed about 4 or 5 players of Sunderland for this game.
Yeah,
but we're missing 11 players there. 11 players who they might not be nailed on first team starters all the time, but there are 11 players who in and around.
Look, can you give us the list?
Yeah, so Seamus Coleman, Michael Keane, Jared Branthwaite, Timothy Boonham, Idrissa Gana Gay, Iliman Njai, Alcaraz, Keenan Dewsbury Hall. I'm trying to think. There's definitely more than that. Timothy Boonham, Jack Grealish as well. So that's I think that's 9 or 10 we've got there, and I'm pretty sure there's 1 or 2 more than them, and I'm probably missing because there's that many out at the moment. So
for me, and I have Branthwaite in there. Branthwaite, Idrissa Gay. Irabunam would have come on at some point. Branthwaite, Idrissa Gay, Grealish, Njai, and Dewsbury Hall. So there's 5 key players missing. But you sign those players. You sign those other players to do something. So it's on you then, isn't it? If you've signed Merlin Rowe and Tyler Dibbling and Barry and they can't do anything, that's on you. Your responsibility. You know. So
Tyler Dibbling, I thought he's shown good touches. He was decent on the ball. He's done everything that we've not seen from McNeil the past couple of games. He got a little bit more support from... See, I thought the first half was really, really poor. Once that second half came out, we played okay. It wasn't fantastic, but we played okay. We had a couple of good goals. So I was expecting to come into this thinking, you know what, we're down 9, 10, 11 players here, and we're still putting in a good performance against a Sunderland team, which are missing a few, but nowhere near as many as us. So I thought it was okay, relative to the position that we're in terms of fitness and playing availability. It's for me, it's that penalties that's absolutely destroyed it. If we'd have got beat by a 1 to make it 2-1 by a last minute goal in that extra time, we probably wouldn't have been as fuming as we are. As we are now. It was just because them penalties were so bad. So bad.
Oh my God, he's can't even talk. He's so annoyed. It's just absolutely disgrace. Take it graceful. You're disgraced. You're embarrassed. You're ashamed.
What a week. I said to you at the start of the week, you take 4 points and through in the cup. You said, no, I want 6 points and through in the cup. You ended up getting 1 point and out the
Yeah,
cup in embarrassing fashion. Absolutely despicable. That
yeah.
penalty
Do you know what?
shootout.
So I say just saying then that if it wasn't for that penalty shootout and how bad it was, I'd have been more positive about that game. The week as a whole, absolutely terrible. I was angry after Brentford. I was foaming at the mouth. I felt sick with anger. That's how bad it was after the Wolves game. After this game, based on how many players he got out, I said I didn't think it was that bad considering the position that it would in with player availability. I thought we were okay. Again, relative. But that penalty shootout just kind of reared its head again. Just when you think, do you know what, it is what it is. Season's over. We're disappointed. The week's been crap, but at least that game we shown a little bit of something. And then penalties, especially Barry, and especially our two strikers. Now, I'm a big fan of Beto in terms of what he's offered. 42 okay this season. He's been a massive letdown, and yeah, I still think will come good eventually. And he's shown good flashes, and I think once he gets on a run, he will. But he's absolutely let himself. He needs a striker there who's going to coach him out of all these stupid little things he's doing. We want him to be able to do like flicks and tricks. Yeah, we want that in. Don't just want to big up front. He needs a Premier League striker experience with him to be able to tell him, don't be doing the stupid shit that you're doing.
Perhaps he's got something to say.
2 strikers, yeah. Couldn't put the fucking foot through it.
Yeah, that's
2
it.
strikers.
Just put it in the corner and just rocket it.
Fucking drove.
Why is Tarkowski not taking a penalty earlier? Or someone is going to take it more seriously and show a bit of respect.
I mean,
This game's going to be remembered for the 3-0 penalty defeat, isn't it? Not for what happened in 120 minutes before. Everton did the best they could do, considering of all their injuries and all of the problems and suspensions. And there's a sheer lack of quality amongst the side right now. But they battled and competed to the point where they got themselves back in the game. And it's so deflating to come out not having put a good show on in that shootout. It's almost like they didn't practice.
yeah. And you would have thought, considering how poor we were and the fact that we were playing so defensively. You know what, if we'd have gone out and proper gone for it and we'd have been pouring penalties, you think, okay, he's playing for the win there. But the way we come out and we were so slow and so defensive at first anyway, which I expected because the availability, the lack of players in the team and the squad. But we've done that and then not done penalties.
All of that battling and doing everything we can to stay in the game relentlessly for so long. You know, you think about what we had to do to try and get a draw, sorry. And then you insult us by taking 3 penalties like that. I mean, it comes down to that key moment.
Fucking arsehole.
It comes down to that moment, those 3 moments. So all the other things are only meaningful if you execute your penalties properly, Corey.
I mean, look, you got to look at it as a whole. I've been very, very, very critical this week. Very, very critical. I've been Moyes' face has been on my mental dartboard all week. I've been like Luke Littler aiming at the middle of his forehead because he's frustrated me nearly as much as Dice did at times last season.
Did he not put out quite a balanced 11?
I thought he put out quite a balanced 11. I thought it shown as well. It wasn't like there was massive gaping bits of space that was missing. I thought Patterson done okay, not great, but he was probably one of the better players in the side, to be honest. The fact that Dibblin was on the right-hand side, there was times when he was going overlapping, not as much as we want, but overlapping, and Dibblin had the ball. There just was, I thought Armstrong played well, not exceptional, but he threw a lot of strong tackles in, meaning he can play a bit deeper. Every time he was getting the ball, he was turning it round. I seen by the end of it that around about the 70th minute mark, he was getting the ball. McNeil was free, and he was choosing not to pass to him, instead drive himself, because I think he just had no belief in not Patterson. McNeil, he had no belief in McNeil, and that's an 18-year-old lad, 19 in a couple of days, but that's an 18-year-old lad who's already going, do you know what? This pro next to me, he's not up to it. So I liked what he did. Thought he done quite well. Adam Asnu, I don't think it was a penalty, but fantastic. He come on, the energy, the grit, the determination he showed, and he threw himself full-blooded to block the clearance, which then got on the penalty. So he done well. I thought Beto showing a lot of effort, ingenuity. yeah, he lacked quality. So there's a lot of bits there where I was watching it, I was thinking, especially in the second half when we started to take it a bit more seriously and put a bit of pressure on, maybe they took their foot off the gas a bit. But I thought, we're actually doing, we're not doing terrible. We got the goal, but then instead of pushing on, we started going defensive. He brought Eli Campbell on for Michalenko. Now, just bring Adam Asney back and put Braden Graham on the left-hand side. I don't think the lad's physically up to the task yet. He's still young. He's physically not there. He's very, very slight. But you know what he's got? Do you know what he's got? And this is the thing, when you're in a cup game, it's not a case of, well, you can get a draw out of it. It's not a case of you were playing for penalties, because we were absolutely crap when we played in a practice them. But you bring him on, and you know what, you just go, I'm going to change the tactics a little bit. I'm just going to change the approach to it. I'm just going to put someone with absolute pace on and just make them try and get behind their players. Even if you'd have done that in extra time when everyone was playing at walking pace. So yeah, I think I was happy to come on to the stream, even if we'd have lost 2-1 with a late goal, or if we'd have lost in penalties with a decent effort, to come on and be positive about the game and go, look, we're out, season's over now because of a shit week, a piss poor, atrocious week, mainly on the manager, but also on the players. But at least there's something positive considering the scenario that we're in. We get more players in, we can kind of build from that when we get the quality back in. But then penalties has really soured it. And probably the same for yourselves. It's probably just completely soured the mood. It's just, yeah. And again, I'm trying to rationalise. I knew that I was going to miss. Yeah. But you think about it in terms of who's going to take them penalties. Garner, when it comes to the penalty coming up, I thought he should have been the one to take it first for the one we scored, the actual in-game penalty. I can understand why he's took one. Ideally, if it's me, and you play mind games with the keeper and you don't make him go first because you're putting everything back on him once he's already had a go. You look like Jack Grealish from this angle, by the way, a little bit, lad. And I would have put him maybe the second or third taker, James Garner. Just let other strikers come on and play mind games with the goalkeeper. I think we made that a bit too easy for him. Barry taking the penalty. We've not seen him take a penalty yet. I thought he was just going to smash it. Terrible technique, terrible decision. I understand him taking that penalty. Beto, again, I understand that he's a striker.
What was the technique? We're looking at the penalty side on. So we were sitting in the east stand where you've sat before, and we were very side on. So we're not behind the goal, or we can't really watch it. To me, it looked like, and none of the penalties were in the corner. They were all lacking pace, and they were all telegraphed. Tell me about the Barry one, because this is a £30 million striker, someone you recommended in the summer to sign for Everton on your transfer list. Are you gonna stand with this?
Third or fourth place in the list, by the way. Third or fourth place in the list.
Are you standing by the signing?
I still think he'll come good. I still think he'll probably end up with about 6 or 7 goals by the end of the season, which isn't great. But considering he barely played for about 5, 6, 7 games, maybe like 10 games, so I think he'll still come good. And Igor Thiago, who Brentford have got, who's got more goals ever by a Brazilian in the Premier League. Yeah, fantastic statistic. More goals than Richarlison never scored in a single season, and we're just over the halfway mark. He didn't look up to the task at first. I know he had an injury at first, and then he went on loan. He didn't look up to the task at first, and he's gelled. It's worked for him, and now he's starting to. He's not starting. He's firing. You know what I mean? The fella's like a rocket. He's absolutely embarrassed us, embarrassed Sunderland, who we've just had a close game against. So don't judge him on one season. It can take the season for him to get used to it. I'd give him that. I think he will still come good. He still doesn't get too many chances, and we're seeing him getting more. We're seeing improvements from him, but that penalty was bad. There's no excuses to make for that. He's tried to do the smart thing, the clever thing, doing the stuttered run up. The thing is with the stuttered run up, that works when you let the goalkeeper commit himself. He didn't. The goalkeeper, it's a game. It's like the what's it called? The Mexican standoff. You know, Mexican standoff and like cowboy films and stuff like that. It's that, and it's for who blinks first. And you wait for the keeper to commit before you then put your foot through the ball. He hasn't done that. He's just got the complete.
I think even the penalty
wrong.
When Garner scored that penalty, when Garner scored the penalty, the keeper dived for it and made his decision. But you know, I know what you're saying. It was like we didn't let the keeper go the wrong way and then hit it the other way. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Because that's what Jorginho used to do. He used to do the stutters, plant the left foot. By that point, the keeper would show which way they're going, and then he'd go the opposite way. Tierney Barry hasn't done that. He's done the run up, he's done the stutter, he's planted his foot. The technique wasn't as good as Jorginho does. Ruffs has just held his nerve, and Barry tried to put the ball in the corner without sending the keeper the wrong way. When it's like that, it's really easy for the keeper to save. Same as the Onana one against Fulham a couple of seasons ago. The Beto one is the one with terrible technique, because he's just gone for the normal penalty. He's not smashed it. He's gone to try and place it side foot in the corner, but he's done the thing where you step to the side. Once you step to the side a little bit, the keeper already knows you're going to go to his left, your right, and then he's stuttered the run up a little bit, which means he's not going to get any power, and it means he's not opening his body up, which means the keeper then knows that he's going to go to my left. He's not going to go too far to the left, which means I can take it quite easy. Just commit myself to the left, and I'm going to save it pretty well. It was a very, very easy.
Okay. Very good analysis, Corey. But why would someone like Beto have approached that penalty in that fashion there? I
just think it's a lack of technique. Genuinely, I think it's a lack of technique. I don't think he trusts himself to be able to smash it. I am a big fan of Beto. I like the effort that he puts in. I do think if we put the ball in front of him a little bit more, he'd do better. We've seen the one where, was it Harrison Armstrong slipped one through to him, and he had a rocket when he hit the outside of the poster side netting. And I think if you play to his advantage, you'll still get a couple of chances like that, which we don't. But that's by the by. He's definitely not the quality to be our number 9 long term. And I think we've seen that kind of tech. He can run onto the ball, but if he's got to do technique where he needs to be a bit more acute and accurate, he can't do that with power. He can either rocket it or he can just put his foot through it. He's not got the technique to hit it with power placements. So he's gone, instead of going for power because he doesn't trust himself, which I get it, I'd expect him to sky it. He's gone for placements. His technique completely off, and he's telegraphed it again.
All of the service, though, to Beto seems to be when he's in a duel with a defender. It never seems to be just placed in front of him so he can latch onto the ball, or behind him, as you say, for him to run onto and use. I mean, I don't think he's as quick as perhaps I thought he was when we first signed him. I don't know at what point you draw the line with these two boys, and I mean, they don't look like they're going to come good in this system and this tactics.
No, I mean, Tierney Barry, we've seen him. I mean, there's times when we, instead of play, we're lofting the ball to him, which doesn't work. He's not that kind of fella. Now, if you play the ball round about just above head height instead of lofting it, where he's having to jump up and fight against 2 big centre backs, he's got good chest control, he's got good control, but he's not winning massive aerial battles. So you just need to whip the ball into him a little bit more, let him work off that, and get someone close to him. That's what we need to do. We've not been doing it. Whether it's confidence or panic or just under too much pressure, I'm not too sure. Like I said, I do think he will come good, but what he needs a striker coach, someone who's going to teach him how to be not that he's not a good striker, because he's got the attributes there. Someone who's going to teach him how to adapt to the Premier League, whether that's as a coach or whether that's as getting someone who's more experienced in the Premier League in. Someone cheap, probably a veteran or someone like that, someone you can bring on when you need to go 2 up top, and they can do that kind of job. Someone who's going to teach him on the training pitch. Look, you're being a bit too lightweight here. You need to be able to stand your ground a bit more. This is where you can be a little bit soft and go to ground and win a free kick, because at the moment in time, players are either completely out-muscling him or he's going in too hard and giving away fouls. He's not got that balance right between how much he can leave in on a challenge. And I think that's what, in just that kind of physicality side of things, he just needs that kind of teaching on how to adapt to the physicality of the Premier League, not just getting stronger, but because the lad's got some strength, he needs to bulk up a bit more. But
why do we make it always about duels?
You are.
Why is it always about duels? Why can't we let them do what the old strikers used to do, which was find space in the box to finish a cross or to engineer a bit of movement to shoot? Why is it always a striker for Everton has to be used as someone for duels against opposite centre forwards?
Because of the tactics that we have from the managers. That's why.
So what do we do about the tactics?
I mean, the first thing is movements. We lack movements. This is what I said about Harrison Armstrong. 2 things we lack on the ball is, 3 things. Pace, which allows you to get in behind teams, which allows you to set up one-on-ones, whether that's the striker, whether that's out wide. Allows you to counter-attack as well if you're not playing possession football. Number 2, it's movement. When we have the ball, our players will just stand there and not move into positions. If you watch a Sunderland, players will go from the central midfield position to a bit deeper to get the ball, to drag players out of position, and that's all you do. When we have it, we get the ball, comes out to the left back, comes out to Mykolenko. Mykolenko looks, there's no one to pass to. I go back, centre back goes back, we go back across, and that is it. Very rarely do our players in midfield make that kind of movement that is needed for the tiki-taka, slow build-up kind of football that Moyes wants to play. You can play tippy-tappy football, and you can play tippy-tappy football with pace. We don't have that. What the whole point
Are you saying we're not equipped? You're saying we're not equipped to play counter-attack and we're not equipped to play possession football?
We're not equipped to play possession football. No. I think it's not even so much that. I think it's a case of we've got some players there that could do it, but they need to be coached in a way. And I've seen this for the past 6-7 years. That our midfielders, just you watch Sunderland players, they're moving all around and a lot more fluid. Not even centre midfielder playing left back, just within that midfield area. The wingers are moving around. Players don't know where you are. And then when you do that, you can make them vertical passes. You can break the lines, and that's where you go. We are far too. You got to be quick about the passing, and you've got to show the movements. Players need to move to create the space. Players need to want to pass it forward, and you need to give the tempo for it. When we do it, it's really slow. Then it just comes straight back, and that's one thing we're missing. One thing I appreciate from Harrison Armstrong is every time he got that ball, in one movement, he just doesn't just receive the ball. He receives the ball and he turns to face the goal, and then that's it. Then that's the kind of speed. They're the kind of players that we need. Maitland Rowe also does it. I've said a few times that Maitland Rowe's best attributes are probably in possession off the ball, the position that he tries to take up. Now, I do think he lacks a bit technically, maybe dribbling, definitely passing and things like that. And I do think he's going to take a bit of time to acclimatise considering the injuries that he's had. But he does the same. Every time he got the ball, he'd shift his body and try and go forward. But Harrison Armstrong was the best at that. And when he's passing the ball, he's not doing weak passes. He puts his foot through it. I don't like talking about the Reds, but Peter Crouch on his podcast, one of the first seasons, he said about when he first went to Liverpool, the difference that he noticed is your first training session, Steven Gerrard was passing the ball to you, but he was absolutely blasting it at them. And that was a case of, can you trap this ball? Because that's the speed at which we're pinging balls at you. And that's what Harrison Armstrong was doing. He gets the ball, he plays a pass, and he's putting power on that pass as if he's trying to put the ball through them. And it's up then to the receiver to be able to trap that ball. Getting quick balls, quick passes, make that transition, and we're completely missing that, which is very, very slow. Very, very, very slow. Which has been the case for ages, been the case all season. The way, if we're going to set up to play to our team's strengths, and I've said this for ages, especially while we've got no Branthwaite, you set up in a mid-block every single time, send teams out wide, your players in midfield, pack quite narrow, and then when team come into your half, round about, you don't press them in their half, round about the halfway line, you just press them then, send them out wide, press them, you win the ball back, but you need to press in packs, you just press together, and then when you win
What
the
if
ball,
you're
halfway up the pitch.
what if you're a team coming away from home and you're happy to just pass it round the back then, and if you don't press, they're not going to do anything with it?
Yeah,
Because you sit in mid-block.
But depends on who you play. Look, if you're playing let's say a mid-table team, low to mid-table team, and you're going away from home to them, and they pass it around, and you're happy. Well, then at that time, what you do is you press when they get close enough to you, and then you can amend it mid-game. You can just go, okay, then we're going to start pressing further and further up the pitch. If you want to be pragmatic about it, safety first, you stand off with that deployed tactic because that's what suits our team. We've not got pace. We've not got ridiculously technical players. We've got somewhere in between. So you start off with that mid-block, send them out wide, and then you just press them from there, and then you can spring your counter-attack. You're halfway up the pitch already. You don't need massive amounts of pace. If teams then start passing it around the back and you just press further and further forward, you just see how much luck you have. You do it step by step. Sometimes then they'll put the ball over you, play through you, and you can see. But you got to have them risks in football, haven't you?
There's pros and cons of every system and every scenario. Yeah. What I would ask though is today. Yeah. Our defence today, Tarkowski looked solid. There was some good performers in the defence. The midfield also looked secure and dealing with second balls and stuff. So that's why I'm not coming on here. And if you just saw me at the start, I didn't come on and rant and rave about all of that. I couldn't be too angry. It was a numb feeling because I felt like we weren't as open against. But then at the same time, Pickford had to make lots of saves. And that's just because Sunderland had a bit of individual quality in and around the edge of the box to be able to make things happen. So Pickford really had a good game. But when we were trying to make something happen and trying to get a goal, you can't just launch it forward to the two strikers and ask them to try and... It was not ever going to work, that system. The only time it worked was when we got Asnu in behind and on the left, and balls for Patterson to cross in deep. But all the crosses were going in quite deep, and no one would go to the back post. It was always overrun.
Yeah, I mean, the modern game, if you're playing 4-4-2, 4-4-2 has to be somewhat of a hybrid system. Every 4-4-2 now is somewhat of a hybrid system. You might have a big man up top, but you will have someone who's probably a lot more technical and is willing to drop deep, drift out wide, and do the hybrid forward midfield role kind of thing. They'll be more of a creator. That's what you have to do in the modern game, because everyone just packs the midfield. So you need somebody who's going to do that. Otherwise, like you said, you're just going long. So I don't think the two up top experiment worked, and I think we should stop it. I'm happy if we play 4-3-3 and Barry plays out wide. I said this very early on in the season that it's certainly an option, especially for teams who have maybe smaller fullbacks. He come in at the back post and he can maybe nick a goal. So I'm happy if we do that. Like, do you remember when we beat Arsenal 3-0 and Lukaku played on the right and he absolutely tore him? Once he got running and he got that pace, his weight behind his pace, he was like a locomotion engine and he was just going through. He was literally just flying through. And that's what Tieno Barry could offer on the wing. That's why later on when he took Michaelenko
Was he not on the wing today, really?
No, he was playing. A couple of times he picked it up out wide and he done some good runs. Obviously, that's when Trey Hume done that obvious booking when he caught as he was running through. And I think if we try doing that, it's something to just to change things up. So I'm happy for us to do that. But going 4-4-2 doesn't work. The chemistry between Beto and Barry isn't there. When you see it, there's no pass between the two of them. They never pass to each other. And I don't think it's like I dislike you or anything like that. I just think that's essentially there's just no chemistry between the two. You can probably build it on the training pitch, but it's just not going to work. I said I would like Braden Graham to come on. When he took Michaelenko off for Eli Campbell, Eli Campbell as a defender, look, the lad is not up to the Premier League standard. He's not up to the standard. He spent last season at Ross County, which is what Scottish Championship. Yeah, no offense to the lad, he's just not good enough. It is what it is. He's been on the bench as a token thing.
Eli Campbell.
Yeah. So what I would have done then is just we've got nothing to lose. It's not as if you're going to sacrificing a point for the loss. It's a win or a loss, and that's all it is. So just put Asnu on the left back role, let him get up higher than what Michaelenko did, roll the dice, and then if Braden Graham comes on, you can do 4-3-3, either with McNeil on one side, Braden Graham on the other, or 4-4-2 with them on the other side, or you can go 4-3-3, put McNeil in the middle with Armstrong and Garner. And then you could have had Barry on one side, Brad. Just something different, just completely change it. Make the defence have to think as opposed to just putting it long. And let's be honest, the Sunderland centre-backs, some of their centre-backs, especially Dan Ballard, who come on when we started doing them tactics, they've come from the lower leagues. They've come from leagues where just defending them kind of lofted balls through, that's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
They're used to the playing that trying to defend.
And they gave away all those yellow cards once we started running at them and making them commit to... those fouls, really, we didn't do often enough.
That's it. I do think, look, if we'd have had an extra body on the bench for the central midfield, we'd have probably brought someone on which would have probably helped us on the counter-attack again. Like being able to bring Boonham on late in that game with his pace and his power, his energy running forward, would have been massive for us. He'd probably started anyway, but being able to bring him or Roll on, let's say, would have been massively important, because when you're on that counter-attack, you've got, let's say when the ball's on the left-hand side, you've got one man there, maybe someone trying to catch up on the other side, no one in midfield, so then players get double, tripled up on. But again, we can put that down to the lack of depth. Like I said, the game today, there's a lot of bits missing. There's a lot of bits there we've seen that's probably not going to work, i.e. Barry and Beto as a two up top. But
what do you think about the centre-back partnership?
I think it's the right... I've been saying it for ages. It's the right centre-back partnership to go for. Again, especially at home, where you want to play a bit higher up. And once we started doing that, you could see it happening. You play a bit higher up. O'Brien's got the pace. And I've said it a few times. You've got two types of centre-backs. You've got a stopper, which is the big man, the man who just headers all the balls away. James Tarkowski. And I think Michael Keane's the same thing. And then you've got someone who is what I call a coverer. Someone who's willing to step out wide, get on the ball a bit more, step forward a little bit more, or if the stopper doesn't do his job, he can track the runner and he's got the pace to keep up with it. Now, they're not rapid, but O'Brien and Branthwaite, both, when they get going, they've got pace. The big lads have got a bit of weight, but once they start running, they've got a decent bit of sprint speed to them. And again, they're both big, so they could do the stopper role, but they've got the dynamic side of them that they can cover doing that. So this is one of the issues we have with Keane and Tarkowski playing centre-back, especially at home, is we play too deep. We can't play high up. They're both nervous because anyone can get behind them. It just doesn't work for them two to be playing together at home when you need to have more of the ball. When you're doing a low block, yeah, but O'Brien coming in next to Tarkowski while there's no Branthwaite should be exactly what we go for. And then even then, to be honest, mate, next season, when Branthwaite's back, if he's still with us, I'd have Branthwaite and O'Brien at centre-back. Branthwaite can be your stopper and O'Brien can be your coverer. Or because they both got pace, they can do a hybrid role of both. Because Tarkowski's on his way out. He shouldn't be in the starting 11 next season. And I mean that in the nice way possible because he's had a decent game today. But I'm just talking...
Just giving him a new 2-year deal on over 120 grand a week.
There's nothing wrong with the 2-year deal, especially for some leadership, because one thing we are lacking is leadership. We need leadership throughout that squad. In the back, we've got Tarkowski. I was saying this in the post match of Wolves. In fact, it might have been the preview for this. We're lacking leadership all throughout the squad, especially up top. But one of the things we're majorly lacking is players who don't need leaders. Obviously, you'll have leaders in the team who galvanise everyone, but they're especially needed for the players who aren't leaders, players who are down the bottom end of, let's say, the leadership trait or whatever. So Mykolenko, he needs that boost. He needs that help. Probably Michael Keane as well. Nathan Patterson needs that boost up. I think Timothy Boonham still needs that boost up. Tieno Barry probably better. They all need that extra bit of boost from a leader. So you've got plus, negative, and you've got those in the middle who you maybe not consider them leaders, but they don't need a leader. They're more experienced. So we're talking Branthwaite probably doesn't need someone to lead him because he's got that self-belief. He's got that ability. You've got Dewsbury Hall, doesn't need a leader because he'll kind of drag himself forward. Jack Grealish probably is somewhere between the leader just because of his status. Iliman Ndiaye doesn't need someone to lead him. He puts the shift in defensively and he's got the belief he's a man. So you've got them people in the middle who aren't leaders, but you don't need leaders. And you've got the people who need leaders, and we've got too many of them and not enough leaders. The middle bit is fine, but we're missing all them people in the middle. That kind of means that.
And do you think he would be happy? Do you think he would be happy? Do you think he'd be happy for a more of a squad role next season, given that he has just been given this bumper contract, so he is being financially compensated probably for the lesser minutes he's going to get?
Yeah, because the thing is, mate, he'll still get games. Look at this season. We've been down to 2 centre backs. We've had 2 centre backs out injured. So he will get games. He will get more games. And let's say we've got the same 4 centre backs next season. Right, just go hypothetically. Yeah, we've got 4 centre backs. We don't want to put any more stress on the recruitment team. You have Branthwaite at the left. You have O'Brien on the right hand side of the centre back pairing, and then you've got Keane and Tarkowski. Tarkowski's going to be the man who gets in over Keane every time. Keane goes back to being 4th choice. Tarkowski's your 2nd choice. He'll come on when we need to, when we're late in a game and we need to hold on. He'll come on and he'll just start heading balls away. He'll be there on the bench. He'll be there in the locker room. So I think he'd accept that. How old is he now? 34, is he? James Tarkowski. He gets up where you get phased out of a team. It's just normal, especially when you've got absolutely no pace like he has. And it's diminishing returns from him at the moment. Again, him and O'Brien were all right today. I don't think they were at fault for the goal. But it's
it was a Merlin roll, a very poor header out.
Yeah.
And then Tarkowski, does he block the keeper's vision there for the strike?
So possibly, but I think it's difficult for Pickford. He's hit that well. I'll be honest. The defending when the ball comes in the box to not clear it is where the issue is. After that, Enzo Lafayette's got great technique. He's hit that ball really well. But again, that's one of the things we find with Tarkowski. And again, I think it might be because of his age. He stays, and this happened in the game against Sunderland at their place in the league. He stays really, really close to Pickford. He doesn't get out and push as much as he should do because, number one, he's old school centre back. It's not in his nature. And number two, he's a bit older. So getting up and doing that sprint is just it's not with him as much as it used to be. So while I can't say that for certain, that's symptomatic of him anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Corey, what do you think of the purple and black kit being worn at home?
I don't really care. Genuinely, stuff like that. I get it, and I get why fans would be upset or annoyed because it should be a home kit for everything, and I get that, but I just don't really care, to be honest, mate. From a football
do you think there's an element of trolling here going on?
No, I think it's just a club trying to get as much money as possible. That's literally it.
But would
Well,
you
at
buy
least
that kit for £110 worn today?
I wouldn't buy any. I don't really like the Castore kits. I don't like the look of them. I don't like steak as a logo. My missus bought me the last Hummel home one with the collar. Was that 2 seasons ago? So my missus got me that one. And that's the last kit. That's the last top that I bought. I stick to my retro ones.
Right, I'll be back in a minute. Should we read some of these comments out?
Go on, mate. I'll read some of the comments out for you. And I agree with you there, Michael James. Yeah, we scored a pen, not an open play. Again, symptomatic of how poor we've been. We haven't really created much of an opportunity. In fact, it's telling that when Adam Asnou come on, he's the one who created, again, more and more opportunities. He put more opportunities on a plate today. He got an assist if you catch it as that. But he put more on a plate than Michalenko's ever did. That ball in which Barry could have got, maybe should have got to. We've never seen that from Michalenko. Yeah, again, Daniel Barton, you're correct. 3 players trying to head the same ball. It's a lack of settled players. Royal hasn't played too many games. In. He's not settled, and there's a couple of players like that. It's an unsettled team. I'm willing to give him a bit of a pass on that, considering the fact that we're decimated as a squad. So I will give him a pass on that. I mean, I'm going to say it a bit harsh there, Phil, because, again, they come in, less than a year ago, or roughly a year ago. They've had to sort of got the debt stuff out, hand over the keys of the stadium and finish all that off. And then they've had to do the recruitments. They've tried to get a recruitment team in, that recruitment team, which this is the biggest failing. You could argue that they never got that recruitment team in before the start of the transfer window. That recruitment team or recruitment committee wasn't completely finalised till after the start of the transfer window. I think we'd already bought a player by that point. Certainly had Alcaraz at that point. We'd only had a couple of players. So what that's meant is, whereas if you look at Sunderland and how they bought so many players in the summer and they've all fitted in really well because they all fit in within Regis Labree's way of playing. Well, they've had a recruitment team who've been able to do that over the space of a year or so and plan for that. We've not had that. Harold, yeah. I get what you mean. I mean, I probably still spend about 25 million on him because the lad has got a lot of skill. He's got a lot of assists for us. He's right up there. I think he's like top 2 or 3 players for assists this season. He's a top 3 or 4 players for like high XG chances created season. The lad is doing everything that he can do. And if we had tactics, if we had a right back and we were able to play down the right-hand side, he'd be under a lot less pressure. The fact that Jack Grealish is doing as well as he is, while being double and triple teamed up on, he gets no help from Michalenko. And when he does, he chooses not to pass him because Michalenko is not up to the task. So if we had a right-hand side, Jack Grealish should look even better because he'd have a lot less players trying to focus on him. If we focused on the right-hand side a bit more, he would also benefit from that. So I'd still buy Grealish. I'd buy Grealish at about 25, maybe up to 27 million next season. It's all about the wages, though, in terms of his transfer. And that's if he wants to stay. I think he likes it, yeah. I think
he might just sack it off.
Yeah,
it's not worth the stress playing for us.
I think he likes the fans and I think he loves the club, but why would you do it when we just keep going down the left-hand side? And again, he's doing well considering he's getting double and triple teamed up on every single time. I think...
Well, surely you have to play... If he had someone like young Asnou, who's very raw, playing alongside him on that left, who's a little bit more dynamic, and then one of the midfielders would normally come across to cover the space left by the left-back bombing forward. That's how a lot of teams did it. That's what Martinez did. I mean, we don't seem to be showing that level of ingenuity.
I think you're right. I think a lot of the time you can have players which aren't even exceptional, but you can still create much more space for them to do what they need to do, and we just don't do that. We give it to Jack Grealish and just hope that he can do what he can do. Now, a lot of the time he can do what he needs to do. But we're not helping him, like you said. Asnou on the left, someone who's got pace, someone that players have to think about whether they have to follow him or whether it's just that extra bit of indecision, that 1%, that will help Grealish. The fact that there's no one on that left-hand side who's willing to help him with the ball and progress the ball more forward. Again, a couple of times, I reckon once Harrison Armstrong and Grealish are playing together properly, I think that'll look a lot better because they're both doing the same thing. One-touch passes. They both got that kind of elite mindset of I'm putting my foot through the ball, I'm passing it, and I'm moving. And he will help create the space for Grealish, whether to pass back to him or to have extra space to do what he needs to do and whip a ball in. I also think when Dewsbury Hall's back, because I think he's got a really good link up with Dewsbury Hall, that'll be the same. Dewsbury Hall doesn't mind going on the outside, and then Grealish cut it and creating that space. We've seen that move quite a few times. We've seen it too much, to be honest, considering we should use the right-hand side as well. But once this is the thing, it's not just picking the players in the right positions. It's picking players in the right role as well. And then not just that, pairing them in. You've seen on Match of the Day the amount of time to talk about triangles and player movement together and chemistry. Baines and Pienaar's a perfect example. You need to create players who work within that system. It's not just, okay, you can play someone at central midfield, but let's flip it over to the right-hand side. Look, I think James Garner, if you're playing a midfield 3, 2, and then one who's a little bit more advanced, i.e. Dewsbury Hall, a bit more advanced, or Armstrong, based on what we've got at the moment, more advanced, Eric Boonham, Just Garner Gay, and James Garner. What you need to do at that point is then you need to I would have James Garner on the right-hand side, because what happens is you've got your right back who's going to bomb forward, your left midfielder who you want to create space to move into the box, and then if Patterson needs to put that ball back, who's he putting it back to? He's putting it back to Garner, who himself can whip in a ball. He's played right midfield, he's played right back. So if he's on the right-hand side of a midfield 3, then he's able to get the ball on the right-hand side and he can whip a ball in. Yeah, go over to the left, but when he goes over to that left, he's not able to do what we want him to do, which is whip the ball in. He's actually done it a few times, to be fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, he scored the goal against, was it Brighton he scored the goal against? Or Wolves, the Rockets? From the left-hand side by Grealish. So he can go over and still do that, but it's better to play him on the right-hand side of that 3, where if your right back's caught too far forward, he can fill in that position. Whereas Timothy Boone, we don't get that as much. Tristan Garner Gay, you're not going to get that as much. And I think it's just a case of being a bit smarter. Again, you've still got to be fluid. Your central midfielder players have all got to interchange, create them triangles, drag players out of position so you can make the vertical pass and break the lines. But I still think that we just need it's little tweaks. This is the thing. We're missing a lot of players.
This all seems to come from the injury crisis, because if I suddenly give you the fully fit squad, you can put James Garner at right back, Garner Gay in midfield. You probably wouldn't put Merlin Roll, but you could put Dewsbury Hall alongside him. You could then still squeeze in Jack Grealish. I think we've all seen about Tyler Dibbling. He's a young boy. He's probably not ready for it. But Grealish could enjoy. Oh, you think he is?
I think Tyler. This is the thing. I think Tyler Dibbling he's not going to start loads of games and be absolutely bossing it. But you watch him on the ball. Every time you play him, he's having more and more of the ball. He's able to handle.
Corey, what's our starting 11 if everyone's fit?
Everyone's fit. Okay, Pickford in goal. Yeah,
it's the Leeds game. It's the 26th or the 29th of Jan.
Right,
You've dragged us out again. I've been dragged out 3 times this week. I wish I hadn't bothered.
Give me a tip.
What is everyone's fit?
So okay, do you know what I'm doing, mate? I'm still playing Patterson at right back because I just want a right back. Yeah, and I'll get to why in a few moments. So Pickford in goal, Patterson. I'll probably choose Tarkowski and Branthwaite for now, yeah? And then filter O'Brien into the team. I'm choosing Michalenko at left back, just to start off, and Asnu can come in late on if need be. I am then choosing James Garner and Keenan Dewsbury Hall and Harrison Armstrong in central midfield. I am then choosing Njai on the right, Grealish on the left, and I'm choosing Tieno Barry up front. That's what I would go for. Now, I understand O'Brien, probably Patterson at right back is probably one of the most contentious decisions. Okay. Reason for that is I want us to have an actual right back who's going to go forward, who's going to play the position. No offense to O'Brien, it's just not his position, especially at home, especially against a team of leader stature. Tarkowski over O'Brien at centre back, only because we know the partnership that Branthwaite and Tarkowski have had together. So we know they work. So you go back to that. There's a lot to be said for the centre-back partnerships. It's one of the most things that you need to keep consistent in football. You can change other players around, but especially defence, and even especially so, the centre-back pairing, it needs to be consistent. They need to have that chemistry. They need to be psychokinetically linked, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So you go for that. If that doesn't work, look, I bring O'Brien in for Tarkowski because he's the first one out. If I'm good, and then you can. Keane, O'Brien can both fight for that position next to him. That is fine. Central midfield, the reason I've not got Garner at right back is because I want Garner to make that position his own, and we need leaders further up the pitch. I think Tristan Garner Gay is a leader, and if we have 2 leaders, and again, I probably wouldn't. It's hard to say because Idrissa Gana Gueye had an absolutely exceptional AFCON. He's potentially been Senegal's best player from what I've seen. He's been fantastic. So if he brings that back, then I choose him in Ghana and let Ghana push up a bit more, especially on that right-hand side where he can support the right-hand side. But otherwise, I want to be positive. So I'd have Keenan Dewsbury Hall on the left-hand side of the midfield three. Yeah, so Armstrong, Ghana on the right, Keenan Dewsbury Hall on the left. And then I'm going to put Grealish on the left wing, of course. Njai on the right, no brainer. And then I like Alcaraz, and I was thinking with it between him or Armstrong, but the way Armstrong's playing at the moment...
You've got 13 players, Corey, or 12 players there.
No, I haven't. So Pickford, yeah. Pickford,
yeah.
Patterson, Tarkovsky, Branthwaite, Mikalenko, yeah. You've got Garner, Harrison Armstrong, Keenan Dewsbury Hall. You've got...
So Idrissa Gueye is not getting in the team.
Yeah. I'm saying it's quite a tough one because I'm thinking more with it being Leeds. I'm being positive. Yeah. So Idrissa Gana Gueye is just a bit too negative in terms of how he plays, a bit too limited, which is it's nothing against him. It's just his style of play, and I want to be positive. I want to be more progressive. I was just saying that he's had such a good AFCON that you could definitely play him as one of the central midfielders. You could also play him there and let Ghana go at right back, but I think that you want to just coach Ghana. You want Ghana to take that role into his own. It's better long term, and it'll still work out the same this season. So, and then Harrison Armstrong, he pips Alcaraz to that role in the number 10 or just the most advanced of the midfield three, just because he gets back a bit more. Threw in a couple of good sliding tackles today. He's a box-to-box midfielder.
Can he score goals?
Harrison Armstrong. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a learning curve for him. But he's the kind of one who'll still get you 4 or 5 goals a season easily from midfield. We see him when that ball bounced up and he hit it. He was very, very close. The ball was he was just underneath the ball and it went over the bar. And not many players in our team are going to have the technique, the composure to do that. And
I suppose we do have to remember today who we were without. The level of player, Jared Branthwaite, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, Iliman Ndiaye and Jack Grealish. The level of player, we're talking about top footballers. And I think if you've got them, man for man against Sunderland, even if they've got their full team, I'd back us at home to be, even though we've only won 3 of 3, if you count the Mansfield game, it's 4 of 12 matches. Shite, but there was been some really good comments in here. There's nearly 500 of you watching, 483. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. If you're watching on X, give us a follow on X and also follow Corey directly at Chips1878. But you should also come over to YouTube and hit the subscribe button for us because it's all helping the algorithm and helping us grow as a channel. Lila has been making some comments. She's not happy with the penalties today. The strikers saying they were completely incompetent and saying that it didn't matter the squad depth today because at the end of the day, it came down to a penalty shootout, Corey. And I think that's a fair point to make, isn't it, really? In that moment when it's a penalty shootout, you don't need to bring in all that other drama. You don't need to. The squad issue isn't a problem. You still had your 2 main strikers to take a pen. You had your best technical player. The only ones you would say, Iliman Ndiaye would take a pen. Jack Grealish would take a pen. Dewsbury Hall would take a pen, would he? I mean, Michael Keane would take a pen. Your probably main penalty takers are all out.
I'll be honest with you, mate, as well. Again, I'm bleating on about it, but like another one I thought probably would have took a 4th or 5th one. I thought Tarkovsky would have taken one, probably one of the later ones. You get why our normal penalty taker and our 2 strikers have took the first 3. I completely get that, even if I didn't think Garner should have gone first just for mind games and I knew better was going to miss. But once you've got that, I would have backed Tarky to score his. Harrison Armstrong, I probably usually would have backed him to score his as well. Again, the lad's got composure, but he was constantly feeling his calves. He was absolutely knackered, so maybe in that circumstances he would have missed. But again, there's no one else on that pitch. Maybe Dwight McNeil, to be honest. I can see him rocketing one in. The one thing he's good at is dead ball situations, isn't it?
Yeah, he could smack it top corner. Why is he not taking one? He probably was down for one. And he had a decent game in terms of his energy, his work rate and his output. That's why I haven't been too critical on some of them. And I've kind of understood that there was effort there. There was effort, Corey. We can accept that.
The effort was there. And again, mate, there was positive things to say. Like you said, the 2 centre-backs, very good. I thought they were very, very good today. Dealt with everything they had to deal with. Even the chances the Sunderland have, they weren't exactly like they've managed to get through on goal. And that's because they're a decent partnership. They got good. They complement each other well. I thought Patterson played okay. He lasted 90 minutes plus, which means that hopefully next week, as long as he's recovered fine, he'll be able to play against Aston Villa. I'm not saying, by the way, that Patterson is the answer. I've been very, very patient with him, but I still think he needs a move away to get back to a level. I think he needs to go to Italy or Spain or somewhere warm. It's a bit slower, less physical. But he's done
Where
well.
he doesn't have to defend 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, mate, I've seen him. He can defend 1v1. When he first started, 1v1 weren't terrible, but the lad just got absolutely no confidence. Absolutely no confidence. So he needs to go there where he's got a bit more time where he can develop that confidence. Maybe then he can come back and be a really good squad player, or we can sell him up for good money if we've still got him, because obviously he's out of contract after next season. So that was a positive. 2 centre-backs are positive. Miko put some of the best balls I've seen him put in. Still weren't fantastic, but some of the best balls he put in.
But no one's going in on the back post, are they, to get on the end of them?
That's it. Asnu, look, fantastic. Maybe that means he's going to start getting games. That's another option that we've got now. His pace. We've said it for a while now. If he's not going to play left back, play him at left wing. Bring Grealish in a bit more central and just use the lad for his pace. You know what I mean? We know he's got ability. We've seen it when he was in Spain. You don't come through La Masia and you don't play for Bayern Munich at that age.
Very raw.
If you've not got the ability. But then if you're a raw defender, what you do? You push him further up. Remember Seamus Coleman? When he got everyone was raving about him when he got Blackpool promoted to the Premier League, because he was playing right midfield and he was a little bit unorthodox, but he'd done really well. He had the energy, he had the legs, and he was getting back and helping to defend as well. And you just take, and it was Moyes who'd done that. It was Moyes who brought him back in that season and shifted him from right midfield to right back towards the back end of the season. So he should have really been able to do that with Asnu as well, which is why I'm surprised. I thought Garner looked really good. Yeah, he missed the penalty, but apart from that, playing the game, he looked really good.
Yeah,
he didn't look great against Wolves. He's playing far too deep against Brentford. Again, I think that's more tactical than his fault. But
he was anonymous against Brentford.
He was showing leadership again today. Harrison Armstrong keep bleating on. Good. Maitland Rowe looked better. He still needs to get to grips with the pace of the game. I still don't think he's completely there. I think it's a fitness thing. But he's looking more and more positive. I like the look of better at times. I do still think if he plays with strengths, he will do a bit better. But again, it's a case of David.
And what is that strengths? Because I don't see him being given the ball and behind 1v1 anymore for him to latch onto.
Play the ball into the channel. He's not got a quick turn of pace. But if you play the ball in a straight line, again, similar to Branthwaite and O'Brien, when he gets up to speed, he's got big legs, he's a big lad, and he's got a lot of weight behind him. Once he's got running, again, he's like a train, he's hard to stop. And he's got strength. We've seen it at one point when we put the ball down the channel forward and we ran to it, completely out-muscled one of the Sunderland centre-backs. But then by that point, by the time he'd out-muscled him, he was in the corner and he had 4 centre-backs on him and there was no one supporting him. So, and I also think, again, I'll also add that I think Tyler Dibblin, on the ball, he looked good. There was times when he twisted and turned around 3 players and then went to go down the middle, play the pass. His pass came off and then it broke down. And I think if Asnu started getting games later on, when we were down and we needed to win and we were desperate, roll the dice, change the way the game plays, we should have done that plenty of times this season. Asnu's hopefully shown what we've been missing. Same with Tyler Dibblin. He should have been brought on plenty of times. Even if you just change the shape, bring Grealish into the middle or bring in Jai into the middle, maybe playing Jai up top with someone.
But then you're asking your centre-backs to defend big spaces and 1v1 and they're not capable of doing that generally.
I mean, I think if you've got 2 centre-backs who can complement each other, O'Brien and Tarkowski, or O'Brien, basically your 2 big lads, Keane, Tarkowski and Branthwaite or O'Brien, you stop it and you cover it. We've seen it at one point today when, in my end of the striker for them, and he's got pace, the lad.
Not Holgate and Godfrey.
Shepherded the man he was dealing with.
What about Holgate and Godfrey?
No, definitely not. No, I don't think. I could say Godfrey could potentially be a coverer, but he was more a utility man. Well, he was just physical, pace and strength, and no ability otherwise. And Holgate, I thought you said Colgate at first.
Corey, have you got any final comments?
So, it'd be nice to have a break for a week. I don't think we're going to have too many players back for the Villa game. I'm going to be honest with you. I think we'll probably have Branthwaite. I think we'll probably have Eric Boonen back, and we'll have Grealish back, and I think that might be it. I think maybe Alcaraz, and then it's not till after that game that we'll get the Senegalese lads back because they're through to the semis. So even if they lose against whoever plays tonight, then they'll still play the third place playoff. So they won't be free till then. We've got a few
that's
players coming
annoying.
back for Villa. So I would say maybe let's bite our tongue for the Villa game. And then when it comes to the Leeds game and the Brighton game at the end of the month, we'll start getting more players back then. And that's when we can really start judging how the back end of the season is going to go. But apart from that, we need a right back. That is it. We need a right back. We are desperate for a right back. And on that note, I'm probably going to have to leave us because I'm going to have
Thank
to
you
go
so
and
much.
start prepping my my transfer show for Monday. If you want to join us, mate.
Oh yeah, amazing. That's going to be so exciting. And I'm going to go and get showered, suited and booted and go to work. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. And I think Corey deserves a lot of thumbs up, guys, in the comments. A lot of thumbs up for Corey and a lot of likes for Corey on the stream. He's run the show. He's brought all of his tactical knowledge, his technical knowledge, and really good, fair, balanced punditry. So, Corey, thank you so much for that. You did really well on this stream. And I was kind of just here to give you someone to bounce off, I suppose, and keep it ticking along for you.
You're just triggering me really, weren't you, lad?
I could have asked you some really difficult questions. I really, really hate Everton and the fact that they've made us go out 3 times in the cold to watch that. The stadium's beautiful. There is a lot wrong with it logistically, but it's a beautiful stadium. And then they serve up this dross week in, week out. But it wasn't that bad today. It wasn't horrendous. It wasn't disgraceful. It was just meh. That's the only... It's just this is how I'd summarize it. It's like that, isn't it?
It is. Do you know what, mate? I think, like I said, I think we can bite our tongue for Villa, brush it all under the carpet. You're very, 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 very welcome, Kevin, mate. Just make sure you join us on Monday for this transfer show. It's mainly going to be talking about right backs, ones we've been linked with, ones I think we should be going for, maybe a left back in there, maybe a winger in there.
I need to get it scheduled, really.
Like I said,
can you give me some of the names in
it.
advance so I can get the graphic done? Okay. Let's get this gone. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah. Peace. Up the Toffies.
We're terrible.